Welcome to the Combot Collective.
Hello everybody and welcome to a news exclusive episode of the Combot Collective, bringing you everything you want to know about the 2021 Battlebots season and beyond here. Of course, we were talking about episode 10 breakdown episode last week, or earlier this week I should say. We were talking about the bracket, we were talking about our season overview, we had our new cast member freeze on. We had plenty to talk about, all of us. We got it all out, but it ended up being quite a long episode, so we didn't end up putting the news in here. We're trying out something different here. Yet again, we got a news exclusive episode here, and we have 5 Battlebots and overall robot combat related topics to talk about here. We got some stuff about some King of Bots competitors going on sale. We have news about robot events happening both in the US and in Europe. And we have news about 2 new Battlebots applicants. Well, not even new. These are robots that we've seen before and are fairly well known in the community. Of course, one also coming from the UK and one coming from the US. But let's not waste too much time here. We're going to get to the news here in a second. But of course, if you like what you're seeing here, please follow us on Instagram. Please follow us on Facebook. Please join our Discord channel. And of course, like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell icon. We need all the support we can here to get the Combot Collective booming and zooming. Let's get into the news. Let's not waste any more time here. Starting off here talking about some events and talking about for the first time here on our news about the European insect weight class here. As announced on March 14th on the NHRL Discord server, among some other Discord servers, the Rapture Gaming and Creative Festival will be returning to Medway. They will be hosting their 2nd annual Beetleweight Championship, with this being the first one happening since COVID restrictions have died down a little bit. So it's going to be set to be held in front of thousands of potential spectators at the festival. The event is scheduled to be held at the historic Dockyard Cathlem on July 16th through 17th and will be set in your traditional UK Beetleweight arena, the one you usually saw at Battlebots or some of these other Bristol Bot Builders events, of course, with the one out of the arena corner pocket and the pit in the middle of the arena. And of course, the event will be following traditional FRA rules. Last year, the sleek horizontal spinner Night Fury won the Beetleweight Championship here, taking out Toxin, what was a very quick championship fight. And along with these 2 robots, which I'm sure you can expect to see at this event yet again, there's a whole slew of 3-pound robots that fought here last year that we're likely to see here yet again. You know, bots like K2, Bourbon, Maximum Overdrive, Scavenger, and of course, coming from Team Monsoon, Drizzle, you know, these are all robots you can expect to make an appearance here yet again. And of course, more veterans and likely some more newcomers entering the fray as well. There is no entry page or even an entry cap set yet, as I believe the event was only recently announced here in the past week. But if anything from 2021 is to be expected, this will be a 32 robot event, with signups likely opening on either the FRA forum website or maybe even the Medway Gaming Festival, that's website itself. So both the FRA forum and the Medway Festival links will be linked in the description below, so keep an eye on those for whenever the announcements do end up dropping, or check your Battlebots, your Robot Combat Discord servers for any local event news if you're in that area. You know, we've been looking for a really good, significant insect weight class in Europe to be covering, because we wanted to cover one. You know, we're doing stuff from H.A.C.R, we're doing stuff from Motorama. But we were looking for a good UK one. Bristol Robot Builders is here. Sorry, Bristol Bot Builders is there, but they do a lot of smaller events. They're sort of smattered everywhere, and they're harder to follow. But hopefully this one will be live streamed, or there will be someone keeping full footage of it, and we can cover it because we want to do more UK stuff here. So now we move from Europe to the great state of Texas for the second bit of event news here. Of course, a couple weeks ago, we were talking about Mark Elam. We were talking about the Houston area combat robotics scene. These guys are putting together a 150 gram to 250 pound robot combat event happening at COMICPALOOZA in Houston in the middle of July. About the same time as that last event we were talking about is happening. But some very interesting news here, as shared with the Combot Collective on the 9th of March and later posted on Reddit, Instagram, and Facebook. Mark Elam announced to us that he and the event team had secured rights to the Robotica name, and that this event will now be known as Robotica. This, of course, will be the very first Robotica event to happen in just over 2 decades. And when asking Mark Elam about some questions on this new event, we asked him if he'd be adopting the Robotica format, and he stated that he intends for it to be an 80% combat and 20% other events kind of style event right now. He has talked to some other robotic organizations about doing things at the expo, and he definitely seems to want to do something very techno games or robo games, and it's how it's displayed in its environment, which is cool. It's a good idea. It's a bit of a bummer that it's not going to be strong to the Robotica format. I know that's tricky, and I know that's a lot of money, and they have the Maker Faire Orlando Arena to work with, but it is a bit of a bummer because you want to hear that robots ready and all that good stuff. You want to see barrels and the rats and the labyrinth and the fights to the finish, but maybe another time. You know, he also said on Facebook that there will be plenty of time to fill in the arena though, so maybe these heavyweight trial events aren't out of the question. I know I'd like to see something like the Skittles event from Robot Wars Series 2 or something along that lines if possible. I think something like that could be incredibly neat. Later on, Mark Elam would share with us that he was in contact with some other popular name competitive robotic events that could be helping take over some of the space, because apparently the team have a whole ton of floor space to work with, which is exciting. We definitely have some high hopes for that, and some high hopes overall for this Robotica July event. We cannot wait to cover it. Hopefully we can be able to cover every weight class, maybe even some of the other stuff they'll be doing as well. You know, if this and the Rapture Festival end up going down, this could be a very busy July for the Combot Collective, and we're excited to be covering all these events, going each area, place to place, looking at all the unique robots. But some other interesting news about this event: there have been 2 more heavyweights which have applied for this event. Of course, the card for this event is to be decided until it's time for the event, so this isn't guaranteed, these robots. But we do have 2 interesting competitors here. One we're finally getting to see fight, and one making their return to robot combat here. The first of these 2 robots, and likely the most interesting to the casual fan here, is Little Pip. It was a veteran robot that people who attended Robo Games 2016 or saw the videos of Robo Games 2016 are likely familiar with. It was your classic 4-wheel drive, hobby built heavyweight, no real weapon on it. It was a 4-wheel drive wedge, if I remember correctly. It had like some goofy wheel guards on it, but I might be mistaken. It didn't have anything too special on it. It fought robots like Megalodon, Echo 2.0 at the event. Thinking about 0-2, nothing too crazy there. But the team is announcing a bit of a comeback here. That's official sequel called Little Pip Resurrected, and it looks like it's gonna be your classic 4-wheel drive robot again, but maybe hinge wedge at the front. Looks like it's what it has in the CAD there, something like Original Sin with the hinge wedge. And what's really unique here is they say that they want to have an electric lifter on top, one that's powerful enough to, of course, flip other robots and to self-right Little Pip itself, which it seems a bit redundant. Usually robots like this don't need a stream mech because, you know, it's a 4-wheel drive wedge on a hinge. It's the same way either way, but I digress. It would be really exciting to see these teams come back into action, you know, as robot combat starts to blossom, starts to grow up again. This team hasn't fought in 5 years, so you never know what's going to happen. This bot could turn some heads, maybe make a bit of a play for that 2022 Battlebots field, maybe 2023 if you want to look down the line. We'll have to see what goes on here, but speaking of Battlebots teams, our second robot here is Piranha, coming from none other than Wildside Robotics. Of course, a lot of fans now are very familiar with the team's main robot, Dragon Slayer, which has competed in the 2021 Battlebots season. We've covered it plenty here. It's a hometown team for me. Unfortunately, the team did go 1-2 in the year with a victory over Duck. Very impressive, but they did end up losing to Orby and Minotaur by some gruesome KOs. Puts them at 1-2 for the year. But talking about Piranha, their other robot here, this is actually the team's very first robot. Some fans know this, and some fans have been aware of Piranha for quite a while. This was the team's very first robot, and the robot the team built to apply for Battlebots 2020. And as you can see here, you know, it's just your classic blue vertical spinner. It's a bit of a unique shape. It has the flapping fin on the back, which, as a big Fantastic and Ed Robinson fan, I'm a sucker for robots with fins, but looks really good here. It does have a vertical spinner, which wouldn't be allowed in sportsman competition, but of course recently we did see Bush Hog, and Bush Hog fought with a 25 miles per hour vertical spinner. Had some good hits, did some good things to axe backwards and breaker box. That's a video you can expect fairly soon here at the Combot Collective. So, you know, there's still room here for Piranha to do some damage, maybe turn some heads in this bracket. You know, I think Dragon Slayer is going to be the main robot for them in terms of Battlebot stuff, but you never know. Maybe Piranha can have some success here and turn the eyes of Trey Roski, Greg Munson, Aaron Catling. Only time will tell here, as we now move on to our little bit of middle news here, talking about some of the robots in China. You know, it's been unfortunate. We've talked a lot in the news this year about robots retiring, robots being put on sale, robots going into limbo, and unfortunately this isn't going to stop here, as we do have a bit more news about robots going on sale here. First made public on Reddit on the 9th of March. 2 King of Bots All-Stars, robots that always had deep runs in these Chinese events, and robots that international fans from both the UK and the US clamored for to be in modern season of Battlebots, are now on sale on the website Goofish, which is a Chinese alternative to the American and international website eBay. These 2 robots, of course, are Double Barbecue, captained by Song Peng, which finished King of Bots with a 7-7 King of Bots record, but really came known as one of, if not the most destructive heavyweight in all of China. It has had fights against some big-time robots like Quantum, Yasagi, Blue, Shaku, and now goes for 30,000 Chinese yuan, or 4,716 US dollars, but in my opinion, the real tragedy here is Scalagoo Snake, Greedy Snake, Hungry Snake. It goes by many names, but Snake here, probably one of the most impressive and creative control bots we've seen in the past decade. They have a fantastic father and son team that really reminded me of the Bigger Brother crew back in the day. And they've had big time wins over robots like Megabyte, Vulcan, Suspension, Shaku, Mr. Hoopu, among many other robots. And now the shielded grabber bot goes for 5,000 Chinese yuan, or only 786 US dollars. It really is such a shame to see these valuable and prominent machines be sold for what seems like such a cheap price, especially in Greedy Snake's case. But the big thing here that I am really curious about is, why are these robots going on sale at what seems to be the exact same time? I know I heard online and on Discord in some communities about a year ago now that a few of the Chinese teams were trying to gather together, get some big applications going on for some super teams to send the Battlebots, hopefully get those robots accepted and use that to spark the Chinese heavyweight and robot combat scene in general once again over there. That concept, and hopefully that's what they're doing here, maybe getting some funding, that concept seems a lot more promising and exciting than the idea of 2 Barbecue and Greedy Snake both calling it quits and retiring here right in front of everyone. It would be a real shame, but if you are interested in looking at these robots on sale, the links for these sales are going to be posted below. But as you can see from some of the footage I've shared up here, the website is definitely made for Chinese phones, or just their app store in general. This is a very clunky mess, but you can kind of see the pictures. You can bring them up in a new tab, so check it out if you like. Hopefully Double Barbecue and Greedy Snake are going to live on, but I guess only time will tell. So for the past couple of weeks, we've been covering 2022 Battlebots applicants, and we're going to be ending our news segment here yet again with 2 more. This is something I've really been enjoying doing. But yeah, we have a pair of very unique Battlebots applicants this week. These are robots that we've seen apply before in the past, and for one reason or another, we're not able to attend Battlebots seasons. But we start here with what has been one of the most hyped up topics this week, one of the most built up robots we've seen for quite a while. So quite frankly, you know, it's been talked about quite a bit on the online community, in Discord, in Reddit, on Twitter, on YouTube. And we're talking, of course, about Emulsifier. You know, Emulsifier, of course, comes from Bots FC. You know, it's New York's top team. They're the builders of H.A.C.R, probably the best hammer bot in the world right now. They finished top 8 at Battlebots 2020. We just saw them finish top 32 in this year's Battlebots, and you know, from that, the team is very well known for their hammer bots like Blue, like H.A.C.R, like Knockoff White, but they certainly aren't exclusive to that design, as arguably their most successful robot period right now is the 30-pound version of Emulsifier, their tracked vertical spinner, who is, like I said, #1 ranked 30-pound vertical spinner in the world right now, with victories over robots like Roundhouse, Megatron, Yahoo, and many, many others. We just saw this robot compete in the Norwalk finals, so we know it's a real deal from that. Bots FC have been working on making heavyweight Emulsifier a reality for quite a while now. In fact, if you go back to the 2020 Battlebots season, after COVID had already happened, they were trying to get it back on the foot again. This version of Emulsifier, or I should say the original version of Emulsifier, was actually accepted. Same robot, it was just a bit more basic in its concept, but the team worked on it a little bit, but ultimately decided due to time and money to focus on H.A.C.R for that event. And the team once again applied with Emulsifier again this year, 2021, or last year I should say now. But were outright declined, you know, of course, due to the boundaries opening up a little bit more robots having access to the event. Emulsifier wasn't really as needed in that current iteration. But then the team decided to have at it again for 2022. You know, they've had a major announcement video on the 14th of March, which showcased the brand new version of the 2,050-pound Emulsifier, which is applying for this year's championship in 2022, of course. This version still features the trademark tracks and the vertical spinner, but now has a very infernal, kind of like a reactor style aesthetic to it, kind of something like Fusion or Hell's Teeth back in the day, a very fiery metal kind of look to it. It does bring a lot more attention to the robot. It has a bit more glow to it. Looks like it has some lights up front. And seeing what they've done to robots like H.A.C.R, you know, we've seen what it was when it was blue, and when it became H.A.C.R, it was just, it still is one of the most spectacular looking robots, especially the 2019 version. But talking about this robot, I could see it being the same in terms of, you know, wow factor really popping on the screen. And it's going to be really exciting to see a tracked robot in Battlebots again if they do get accepted. But I do have some worries about this robot, you know. I was hoping they would bring something else to the table besides the tracks and the vertical spinner. In the original teaser they posted on Twitter, it looked like the robot was going to have maybe a flamethrower as well built into the design. It certainly would fit the aesthetic, but doesn't seem to be the case. It does look to be just a tracked vertical spinner. And while I think this robot may have a better chance than Drago or even maybe Swamp Thing, you know, this is a robot that is going to do good if it does get accepted. It's going to hit hard, you know, it's going to hit fast. It might not drive the fastest. We're going to have to see how those treads end up working. Those are going to also end up they're going to be a big target for a lot of these big spinners, especially horizontal spinners. So I'm a bit iffy on the whole emulsifier thing. If it does end up competing, it's going to be beautiful to see in action. It's going to be beautiful to see fight. It's going to have some big moments. It's going to be a playoff level robot, I think. But Battlebots has a big thing with vertical spinners. It's the meta right now. Everyone and their dog wants to enter one, and we have robots like Blacksmith. We have robots like Kraken now teasing going to vertical spinnerdom. You know, we've already seen it with Blacksmith a little bit, so we're just gonna have to see how this one goes down here. You know, it's a bit funny. We started off this news bit talking about the UK, but now we end the news bit talking about the UK as we finish off here with our second applicant coming from none other than London, England, in Boltergeist, a robot familiar to many Battlebots fans, and a robot captained by musicians and roboteers Aiden James and Natasha Herbosek, both to have some success and some experience on the robot combat scene with their 3-pounder Spoopy, which is your classic vertical spinner. But as for the bot Boltergeist itself, it's applying for its 3rd Battlebot season and is a robot which has been a bit of an up and down story in the world of Battlebots since its conceivable of concept back in November 2019. The robot itself started off as a very beta-inspired robot with the big hammer, but over its 4 incarnations of design here, it has really sprung into being something more like Titan or Scorpion from the old Robots Live scene, roaming robot scene here. It's become sort of its own style robot, something closer to Thor, but you know, big plow, widgets on the front, different modifications. But you know, the team had quite a while to get there. They originally applied for 2020 and were accepted as one of the COVID teams, but ended up being a bit of a pay your own way process. So due to many reasons, from the delayed season, travel circumstances, and unfortunately the passing of their teammate Oscar Humphreys, the team had to sit out. And then come the 2021 season, which much like Emulsifier, the team applied in that one, only to be declined due to other teams now being able to be accepted. But here they are making a pitch yet again, as you can see here, outfits and all, looking great. With their brand new version of Boltergeist. Many changes here, including interchangeable axes like the UHMW hammer, made for horizontal spinner bots, which also shown in this video here. Among with some other changes, you know. Boltergeist, just in general, reminds me of the story of Battle Saw. You know, this was a robot from, I think it was Kansas. Yeah, it was Kansas. That was just in the middle of the U.S., you know, not much hype about it, but this was a robot that had been posting online, building up its hype pretty much since the end of Battlebots 2015 onward, and through hype building, they were finally able to get onto Battlebots 2019, and yeah, they didn't end up having too much of a showing. I think they went 0-2 in the regular season. They got there. Same with Nelly, you know, that was another robot that had a bunch of fan build-up behind it that ended up getting it shot. And you know, Boltergeist, very similar to Nelly. It's probably going to have to get in through pay your own way. It's going to be an axe bot. And the team has a lot of flavor, a lot of accessibility, or accessorizing, I guess is the term. I'm fried at this point. It's the last bit I'm recording. But I digress. The team looks great. The bot looks great. And, you know, they just have a really great story behind them. We've seen these guys apply now for a few seasons. We've seen multiple application videos from them. And we know the team pretty well. Like I said, we've seen them in the live circuit. We've seen them compete in insect class competitions. We've probably seen the robots fight, and we don't even realize it. So, you know, I have high hopes for Team Boltergeist and Boltergeist to finally get into the 2022 Battlebots season. Maybe it's a bit of a long shot just because we have seen the depth of competition, but Battlebots does need more axe bots. Just look at Blacksmith, you know, they're now a hammer saw. Beta was gone last season. Hopefully we can see them come back in 2022. And then we have H.A.C.R, who, you know, likely we're going to see them move on more to the Merry Special given what happened at the end against Riptide. So more hammer bots are going to be needed. We might need these bots like Nelly. We might need these bots like Ragnarok. We might need these bots like Boltergeist, of course, to come back into the fray, start fighting, and make BattleBots more axy like we all want. And that's going to wrap things up here for a unique standalone version of the Combot Collective news. Maybe this is something we start doing regularly to give us a bit more elbow room for our breakdown videos and just give us more videos every week, which, you know, content's what we like to see, you know, sliced up a little bit. We'll see how we end up doing it here, but to run over the news quick one more time. We talked about 2 robot combat events, of course, starting off in the UK. Medway Rapture Gaming and Creative Festival will be doing their 2nd annual Beetleweight competition. This is likely going to be the biggest Beetleweight competition in UK history, so this is going to be a huge one. It's going to be happening July 16th through 17th. You can look in the 2 links below we put there for potential signups, and of course, happening in Houston, my home state. Robotica is returning. Mark Elam and the team secured the naming rights for Robotica, so the Houston heavyweight 150 gram to heavyweight event will be running the Robotica name. That's going to be super excited, and that's another event that's also going to be happening in July. For some Saturn news, of course, King of Bots veterans, Double Barbecue and Greedy Snake both are going on sale for some pretty criminally low prices, especially for Greedy Snake's sake. We don't know why they're going on sale in pretty much the exact same point. We don't know if there's something big planned or if it's just them giving it up. We hope it's not that, but only time will tell. And of course, talking about 2 robots that applied for Battlebots 2022, we have Emulsifier coming from Bots FC, the team behind H.A.C.R. This is a tracked vertical spinner and is a 250-pound version of the best vertical spinner in the featherweight class in the world right now. And of course, also applying for Battlebots 2022 is Boltergeist, a team we have seen apply for Battlebots seasons past. Hoping 3rd time's a charm for them, as they've been working on this robot through many ups and downs in the UK over quite a few years now, and they really deserve a chance to compete in Battlebots. That is our news, and of course, if you like what we're doing at the Combot Collective, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Facebook, join our Discord server, subscribe, like, comment, do all that great stuff on this video. This has been Sterling Brown here. You can find me on Instagram at SterlingTXTEG. You can find me in vlogging projects. You can find me in podcast projects later on this year. And of course, you can find me right here at the Combot Collective. We'll be doing more news, more Battlebots breakdown. We're not going anywhere just because it's playoffs and bounty hunters. We're going to be here for those 2. TCC 10s will be returning in a couple of weeks. We have other episodes, videos, live event breakdowns on the pipeline. Of course, I got to eat some Subway as well. That's going to be something that's going to be filmed here. That's going to be a little fun. We have a lot here at the Combot Collective, so we hope you're enjoying what you're seeing here, and we will see you again next time.
This was the Combot Collective. Find us on Instagram and Discord.